Alright guys, we're jumping right in. I'm going to start with some skincare here. I'm going to start with a little bit of Sotoks, and then we're going to use some Must Dew. The original plan was not a voiceover, but had all sorts of problems. Couldn't go live, then YouTube had issues because I had some music in the background because that's how I get ready. So, that's where we're at. Last but not least, we're going to use some Eye Aspire, the most amazing eye serum ever. Makes the makeup go on smooth, keeps it from creasing, also lightens and brightens and tightens the under eye area in like really record time. Little tip when you're using it though, if you're going to put makeup on right after, rub it in with your fingers a little bit afterwards, just to make sure it's not too thick. Too much of a gel-like texture can cause flaking. Starting out with some first base for the makeup. So I've been doing my foundation a little bit differently lately. I've been using some Ivory in my highlight areas, and then I use Shinto Zero over the rest of my face. There's no rhyme or reason why I decided to switch this up. I just got bored and tried a different technique, and I've been liking it lately. You do not need to do this by any means. I just feel like it gives me a little more highlight and a little less work. At least when it comes to the concealer later. As you can see though, if I would use Ivory over my entire face, I'd look really pale. So blending all that out with a Morphe foundation brush. I can't think of the name of it. It's their bigging guy. I'm going to go in with 0 and 1. 1 over the red spots because it's a green tint, and 0 for the highlight areas, and where I need a little more coverage, I guess we should say. Little tip, I've noticed I was having all sorts of issues with creasing and moving on my face. I was using way too much product. You don't need that much. Our foundations and concealers are over 50% pigment, which the industry average is, I believe it's 18 to 23%. So your favorite full coverage foundation, you can get better. Now I'm setting my whole face with our No Color powder, which is my favorite powder now. I was using the RCMA loose version, but it actually gets too cakey throughout the day, and I start to flake and it starts to crack. And a little tip, weird thing I do is I will tap my face to see if it's still tacky. If it is, I put a little bit more on just to make sure everything else blends smoothly. Gonna contour with some of the Perfect bronzer. We are getting different shades, deeper shades, more matte shades. They're all coming soon, guys. And as usual, going in with blush number 4. That is my favorite by far. Now we're doing the brows real quick with Brow Definer from Anastasia. I believe it's the shade Soft Brown. When I do a cut crease, I prefer to start this way, with the brows at least, because you can see a little bit better where you're going. So I'm going to start with the shade Cream Boat all over the lid and underneath. That's going to help me set the concealer and the primer a little bit further. Cream boat is pretty much my skin tone. Then we're using One Night Stand in the crease as our transition. I'm throwing in a couple extra steps here to try to make it the cleanest application for a beginner. It is a little bit more advanced, and you also don't have to do quite as much as I'm doing. I started with the Melt 420 liner to carve out the cut crease area. You want to do this part with your lids open. That way you can see where you'll be able to view the line better when your eyes are open versus when you're closed, since you're not going to walk around with your eyes closed all day. Then we're using the shade Gumby by Colored Raine. And we're going over that line area, blending that out a little bit, and doing the outer corner. It's always better to start off with smaller brushes when you're doing this kind of a look. It needs more precision. Going back in with One Night Stand on that fluffy brush. I didn't add any more product and just blending it out around the edges there. Now with a smaller pencil type brush, going in with Enchanted Forest from Makeup Geek. And we're carving out that line a little bit more. For the cut crease, you want the darkest area to be around that cut area. That's what gives it more drama. Going back in again with a fluffy brush to blend out the edges. Now we're cleaning up with Concealer Zero and a flat brush. This will give us that sharp line without stressing out too much. Make sure you put the concealer on the edge of the brush too, because that's what you're going to use to carve this out. Now I'm going in with Gold School, using 10 Years Younger Set Spray also to make it more metallic. Gold School is in our Bare Metals palette. And 10 Years Younger is made by Scandinavia, which is the same company that makes Urban Decay's setting sprays. I like ours better. Taking that gold in the inner corner as well for the inner corner highlight. Once you have your lid color down, you want to go back over and kind of blend out any areas that overlap. I'll do a floating cut crease on a different video. This one's blended on the outer corner. Carving that out a little bit further without blending. Now I'm using Urban Decay Rail on the waterline and Tightline. You can use green here if you really want to go for it. I thought it needed a little bit more grounding because of how much green I used, so I went with just a deep brown. Setting the face with 10 Years Younger. Plumping the lips with the Liptiful. Finding lashes and mascara, the usual. This is the Limelight Perfect Mascara. It is a fiber mascara without any mess. It is incredible and great for sensitive eyes. I was fighting with the glue. It wouldn't open. Struggle bus. And these are House of Lashes and Just Winging It. They were part of the Tinkerbell collection. I apply them on the outer corner and then wait for them to get tacky and apply the other. And then I manipulate once they are dry. I still plan on doing a full lash video. I think this was the first time I put on lashes in a solid 2 months. That's how good the Limelight mascara is. Now we're going to do Limelight by Alcone Enduring Lip Color in Macaroon. It's our liquid lipstick that lasts up to 6 hours. Sometimes longer, depends what you're doing. This is one of my absolute favorite lip colors. Alright guys, jumping in. Starting with foundation and the Limelight Buffer Brush, and Shinto Zero is my color. This is a good foundation for full coverage or light coverage. You can kind of really work it. I start off with Must Dew to give it a little bit more slip in the winter months when my skin's really dry. The buffer brush is great. It doesn't take up a lot of product, and it doesn't waste a lot of product, so it blends in really nicely with a very small amount used. If you want fuller coverage, Kabuki brush is
St. Patty's Day, pot will go.
But I do like switching out sometimes.
And you can use a different green on the lid. I was thinking mint originally, but then I was like, I gotta work, so I think I need to do a little less green. Make it a little more wearable. So,
And you can see the coverage of it.
there we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and your patience and your support. And sorry I couldn't go live, but I will slice this baby together and get it up like ASAP. Hopefully today while the client processes, I can just put it in. I'm not going to do a crazy amount of editing, so sorry about all the time I spent, you know, effing around.
Since I'm so fair though,
Any questions though, let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.